Hi, I'm Becky from Retro From Scratch, and this week I'm going to show you how to make one of these fidget spinners. Aren't they fun? So this one I've made all from an old My Little Pony book. If you don't know already, I take old books and recycle them, turn them into notebooks and use the leftover paper to teach people how to craft. So keep watching and I'll show you how we're going to make one of your very own fidget spinners. They're so much fun. I could spend hours doing this. Okay, so the very basic things that you're going to need is a piece of paper. Here I've got my little sheet of My Little Pony. You're also going to need a skewer. These are just barbecue bamboo skewers, but be careful because they have got a sharp point. You can get these from the supermarket. I got these from Amazon. I think it was £1.50 for a pack of 100. I'll pop a link in the description. Now you're going to need to cut out some cardboard circles. Now you can do this neatly using a craft punch like this, but you don't need this. So you could just draw around a £2 coin would probably be about the right size, and then just cut it out with scissors, or if you're feeling brave, you can just go freehand like I did on this one here. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be completely perfect. Now, you will need to make a hole to put your skewer through the cardboard circles, and to do that you could use a tool like this, which is an awl, which is very, very sharp. But if you haven't got one of these, you can just use a thumbtack, okay, a drawing pin, and then give it a good wiggle to make the hole. A hole punch would be too big. You want it to be quite a small hole. You're also going to need a straw, and we're going to only need a little bit. So you can, I've used a paper straw here, but if you've got a plastic straw, that's absolutely fine. It just needs to fit over the skewer. And I've topped mine off with a little pom-pom. It's just to cover the pointy edge. You don't have to do that. You could just file it down with a little bit of sandpaper or leave it as it is, but you just need to be very careful because it is sharp. So the pom-pom just helps keep it safe so I don't hurt myself. Now you are going to need some glue, and I thoroughly recommend using the Yoo-hoo glue. Now this does have a little warning on it, so it should be used supervised with an adult, but this stuff is going to glue fast. It's not super glue, don't worry. You won't stick your fingers to it. It's an all-purpose glue, so it's quicker than PVA. And if you like making things quickly and you want to play with this quickly, then I really recommend the Yoo-hoo glue. It will hold everything nice and strong as well. To get our paper strips, they are going to be 26 centimetres long, and to get these you can cut the paper yourself using scissors. That might be a little bit difficult. You only need 8 pieces of paper. Now, I don't know if you've heard of quilling before. This is quilling, and it comes with paper strips. And so actually, you could just take the paper strips from here. And as you can see, they come in all beautiful, a range of beautiful colours here. So you could just take one of each colour and just cut them down to 26 centimetres. That is what I did for this one. But as you can see, the quilling strips were quite thin. They do come in different thicknesses. And for my Little Pony one, I've actually used a thicker strip of paper, which I prefer. I think you can see more colour, and you can also see little bits of the picture. Now, to create those quickly and easily, if you happen to have a pasta maker in the kitchen and it's clean and you're allowed to use it for cutting paper, then I really recommend using one of these because it's fun, but also it creates these strips very, very quickly, and it will create much more than just 8. So you can make yourself lots of fidget spinners. You just need lots of skewers. So the first job we're going to do is cut out the circles, and I'm just going to use a bit of old Amazon packaging. So like I said, you can use a £2 coin and draw around it, or if like me you have a circular punch, I'm just going to cut out the holes here. So we need 2 of these, like so. Now we're going to need our paper strips, and to do that, if you can either cut using scissors and a ruler and cut your strips off like this. It helps to be straight, but if you're not straight, it's okay. It doesn't matter. So you can cut strips like that, and you're just going to need 8 strips altogether. Or we can use the pasta maker, which is a lot of fun. We're going to be using the bigger setting. Just put the handle in here like so. Now, the piece of paper that we're going to feed through needs to be, this is too wide, so it needs to be this width, and I've already measured, so I know how wide it is. It is 14 centimeters. So I'm going to cut this paper to 14 centimeters and then feed it through to create our paper strips. So I'm just going to measure 14 here, 14 here, draw a line, and then I'm just going to cut that off. And we're going to save this piece of paper. Well, actually, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. So, you know, we've made these circles. Well, actually, I thought it'd be nice to decorate them with some pony pictures. So I'm just going to punch out 4 so we can cover both sides, 4 holes. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And you can see I'm using the punch this way up just so that I can see where I'm getting the image, so that I make sure that I get the pony's head in shot. We've made those in preparation. We will stick those down shortly. Let's make our strips of paper. So let's bring the pasta maker back. This is quite heavy, and you may find that you need 2 sheets of paper to go through if your paper isn't thick enough. And you may find that you need to help guide it slightly. So I'm just using my hand here to just help push it through whilst turning the handle. I definitely think could have done with 2 sheets through this one. Okay, so now you'll see I have, oh, it's not quite gone all the way through. There we go. So we've got lots of strips of paper here and lots of strips of paper this side as well. So like I say, we only need 8 strips of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I'm going to do now is glue our pictures onto the cardboard, and you could use a glue stick for this, but I'm just going to use the Yoo-hoo glue so that we only use one glue throughout the whole project. Now just be really careful with this because it comes out. So whenever I use this, it comes out very quick. So I'm just gonna, I literally have the silver end tapping, is touching the cardboard all the time. So I'm just gonna pop that on there, do the other side. So I sort of spread it around so that not too much glue comes out. We don't want too much. There we are. Do the same on this bit. But this glue dries really, really quickly, and that's why we love it. And it's particularly good for this project because you want to be playing with it straight away, don't you? So we'll just let those dry a moment. I've just picked out, while that was drying, a little blue pom-pom. This pom-pom is, I think, yeah, it's about 15 millimeters. Okay, so we need to make a hole in the center. So you could use the bradawl, like so. Just push it in and give it a good wiggle. You need a craft mat, or you can just use a chopping board or an old cardboard box, like a corrugated box. So I've done this one with the bradawl and just gone through the middle. You have to be very careful and don't go through your fingers. And then this one I'll use using the push pin, like so. Just push that all the way through and give it a really good wiggle. Right, now what we need to do is stick the strips of paper so that they are opposite each other, like a star really. And to do that, I'm actually going to put the glue on each little area that's going to go. So we're going to put one dab there, pop that one on. I'm just going for opposites, so there, that's opposite this one. Right, and then we're just going to let that dry before we stick the other ends to this one. Now this one is harder because you need to make sure that these don't twist or curl. Now you can see they've not dried yet, so that's moving around. So we need to make sure it's dry, and also we don't want to twist the paper like that. We just need to make sure it comes up and around, and we're going to be sticking it on the inside. So we're going to imagine our skewer is going all the way through here. Just going to put a little bit of glue on one of the ends and then put it on our circle, and then we're just going to repeat that for, I'm going to put a bit opposite, and then I'm going to find the opposite piece of paper and I'm just going to pop that on. This is more fiddly, so just take your time with this bit. It might be easier for you to wait for the glue to dry in between each one. The key is not to put on too much glue, otherwise it will just slip around. So you only need a little bit because it's only paper. We're sticking paper to paper. So I'm just going to bring that round, pop a little bit of glue on there. So I'm always doing opposites to opposites. Which one should we do next? This one? I'm going to hold that there a moment. So if you've got someone who can help you, an extra set of hands, that will make it a little bit easier. And I'm not squeezing the glue at all. It just comes out of its own. Gravity brings that glue as soon as I tip it up. So you don't need to, it's only when you get near the end of using one of these tubes might you need to give it a good squeeze. You definitely don't need to squeeze it if it's a new tube. Right, okay, so there we have all 8 pieces stuck on. Now I'm just going to kind of hold that there for a moment and put this lid on, and we're just going to let this dry and then we can add the skewer. Okay, so I've got the skewer and I'm going to go from the bottom. I mean, they kind of look the same now, bottom and top. Poke it through there and then poke it through this bit here. So we now have this sharp pointy bit at the top. And at this point, we need to be able to glue this in place so that this piece doesn't move. This piece, we want to move up and down. So you can give that one a bit of a wiggle. Oh, look, we can see it's working now. So if this moves around, then we won't be able to do this. It will just keep spinning. So that's really good. But to hold it in place, we're just going to add a bit more glue on the top here. This is why you don't want a big hole, because it means it will hold it in place. So we're going to add a little bit of glue there, and I'm also going to add a bit of glue on the inside there, just to really stick the stick to our circle. And then I'm going to get the pom-pom, and I'm just going to put a bit more glue around so that there's enough on there to make the pom-pom stick. I'm just going to hold that there a moment, because it's at this point that the pom-pom might decide that it wants to pop off. There we are. And we just need to let that dry. If you've got any extra glue, you can just pick it off. It goes a little bit stringy. That's it. And we're just going to let that dry. Whilst that is drying, we're going to make our handle to make this bit go up and down. So to do that, we're going to use a piece of straw, and we're going to, I've just cut it down by eye, but you should get at least 3 of these out of one straw. This is 7 centimetres long, and I'm just going to cut about 2 centimetres down. And I've made 3 cuts. And what I'm trying to do is create a tab. I might cut that one in 2. There we go. Like so. So we're going to create some tabs. And this is going to allow us to move this bottom piece up and down. So on the opposite end, we're going to place the straw over the skewer. This is going to be our handle, and all we need to do is attach the handle to the base. So we just need to apply some glue. What I would suggest is you could use a little bit of tape just to help that stick down firm. Otherwise, because there's pieces of the straw just slightly curved, so you're just going to need to make sure that you hold that in place. And so you could use tape if you wanted to. Just going to hold that down like that. If you really want to go fancy, you could use a straw that matches the colours of your pom-pom or matches the colour that's in your book. I think this orange and white straw is nice and stripy. just picking off the extra glue. You may be picking that off of your fingers as well. And then once it's dry, it will be able to do that itself. And then you can twist it. And we have created our very own fidget spinner. You can create different shapes and patterns, all made using bits of paper, cardboard, a skewer, straw, and a little bit of Yoo-hoo. I mean, what's better than one fidget spinner? 2 fidget spinners? Oh, I'm having so much fun. And I just love recycling and making things out of something that would otherwise be rubbish. So I don't expect you to be cutting up books just to make this, but you might have some old magazines lying around, old bits of wrapping paper, maybe a takeaway menu that you can cut up into little strips or run through the pasta machine and turn into a fidget spinner like this and start making weird and wonderful and pretty shapes. Oh, so much fun. I really enjoy this. If you've enjoyed this video and making a fidget spinner, then do please give me a like, a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe because I'll be back here again for more recycled retro crafting with you. Now, if you want to do some more crafting, if this isn't enough for you today, then do check out my next video where you can learn how to make something else using bits of rubbish. I'll see you again soon. Bye.